So for those of you that watched the first part of this video, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end. I am going to do a quick part two because as I was expressing my thoughts and feelings, a thought came to mind when it came to the idea of being imperfectly consistent, of a question that I get very often. So if you're an actor, especially if you're starting out, here is a question that I get very often when it comes to the idea of making a reel. Right? So the question that I get a lot, asked all the time by people who are looking to get into acting, or are starting to make some traction in acting and want to compile some of their work together. They're like, Anthony, I want to make a reel, but I don't really know because some of it's from student film, some of it's from this, some of it's from that, and the quality's not that great, and I just don't know what I should make my reel of. And my advice to them is advice that I've heard, and it's if there was an actor's Bible, I would probably put it in there. I wholeheartedly believe that if you don't have a reel and you need to make a reel, because as an actor we all need to make reels, you need to make a reel of your strongest auditions. Now that can be a little tricky, right? Because I think with actors and our acting ability, right, you ideally I would hope, think that you're acting and putting your best acting foot forward every time you audition or every time you do a self-tape or something like that. And as we grow and as we gain new skills and gain new abilities, sometimes we'll look back and be like, that was a time in my life where I wasn't the best auditioner, or I wasn't the best at improv, or wasn't the best at making jokes, or wasn't the best at being serious, or whatever the case may be, right? But even for where your skill level is at right now, in my opinion, and even from conversations that I've had with producers or people who work in a cast and director capacity, it's better for you to have a reel of self-tapes or auditions or monologues that show range than to have nothing, right? Acting and being in the acting career has a very multi-tiered thing, right? There's the headshot, there's the reel, there's the way you dress, the way you take care of yourself, do you know your types, things like that, right? And the last thing you want is to have a dope headshot, to know your looks and things like that, and have no reel to show, nothing to show of your acting ability, right? So I would say if I had to start from scratch, right, but with the same knowledge that I have now about acting, I would, if I was you, person who's watching who doesn't have a reel, I would focus on making a comedic audition of some sort, a dramatic audition of some sort, something that plays towards a character type. The character type could be something that fits you, fits like your type if you know your type already. Although I would personally advise doing something that's a little bit outside of your type, because it's very easy to be typecasted. And while that can be a good thing, you want to at least be able to show range. So if you want to do something that plays to type, you should also do something that's a little bit more out of type. So to give an example, I kind of get guy next door, right? The nice guy, so maybe an out of type self-tape audition for me would be a verbally abusive, physically abusive boyfriend or husband, or just mean guy, right? Just to show that I have the ability to play that as well. Reels shouldn't be, in my opinion, more than like 2 minutes. I'd say if you can make it even shorter, do so, because basically you're trying to hit some key pockets and key moments. You're trying to show your acting ability, you're trying to show your diversity when it comes to your skills, and you're trying to show your range. So if you can pick 3 to 4, maybe even 5 of different types of self-tapes or auditions that do a really great job of showing your range, that could be your reel, right? Be imperfectly consistent. Have something there. And of course, the minute you get something better, put that on there instead. I'm not saying to like take your reel of self-tape auditions to the bank, although, maybe that might work out for you. But it's at least better than nothing, and it's a better place to get started than I'm just going to hold out till I get better footage. At least in my opinion. So let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in.